Mansi, I think we should start.
Okay.
Okay. Uh, let's start.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shubhra Mittal. I'm a brand consultant and a global ambassador for Peaceful Tourism. I'm here to talk about the what we are going to do after India has banned the 59 apps of Chinese descendants, and we'll be discussing more of what we can do in future and in different fields that we can go. And should we start?
Ma'am, I'll just introduce our guest for today.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I am Mansi Beswar, Chair of Cummins College of Engineering for Women Student Branch IEEE, and also the coordinator for today's webinar. Firstly, I would like to thank all the SB members. I'm short of words for their involvement and willingness to take on the completion of tasks beyond their comfort zones so that we could come up with this event. Today, we have with us Dr. Bhushan Joshi, Principal of Cummins College of Engineering, Nagpur, and IEEE Senior Member, Mr. Ranjit Singh, Chair of IEEE Nagpur Subsection and MD and CEO of Syslogics Nagpur, Kuldeep Singh Sir, Secretary of IEEE Nagpur Section, and our today's speaker, Ms. Shubhra Mittal. I would like to request Dr. Bhushan Joshi Sir to address our participants.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon, Shubhra Madam, Shubhra Mittal, Mr. Ranjit Singh, and Kuldeep, and all the IEEE student members, and our coordinator, Professor Jaya Rao. It's a good thing that we are trying to hold a webinar on some topic which is now very hot, and everybody is now thinking like, what next? That will there be any alternatives for us if we ban the China apps? Will there be any alternatives, or what would be the opportunities if the China products are uh, boycotted over here? Well, as an engineer, opportunities are always there, and for every problem there is a solution. So we are, I think, today going to do this kind of thinking through this particular webinar and by the presentation which would be there from Shubhra. Uh, I welcome all of you on behalf of Cummins College of Engineering, and it's pleasure to have you here and have talked to our students. And I really see good attendance of the participants. I hope it increases before we really get into the thing and stays till the last. Thank you so much for coming and joining with us, Shubhra ma'am and Ranjit and Kuldeep.
It's
Uh,
my honor, sir.
thank you. Thank you so much. I now hand it over to again to Mansi.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Now I would request Ranjit sir to address our participants.
Yeah, good evening. Mansi, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Dr. Joshi sir. Good evening, Kuldeep Singh Rana, Secretary, Nagpur subsection. Good evening, Dr. Jaya Raut. Good evening, Shubhra Mittal. It's good to see you here today in the evening. And good evening to all the student members. Mansi, congratulations to you for becoming the chair for your student branch. Now, just taking this opportunity to speak a bit about IEEE. As we all know that IEEE is the largest technical organization in the world with more than 5 lakhs members across the globe. And then, as we all know that, I'm not sure if everybody knows that it is divided into 10 regions. So region 1, R1, R2, R3, it comes to R10. So we are under R10. And then we have in R10, in India, we have 11 sections. And we come under Bombay section. So we are an upper subsection under Bombay section. So I am very happy to tell everyone that we are the largest subsection and the most vibrant subsection in region 10. So I'm really proud to be leading this subsection here at Nagpur, and then seeing to it that we keep conducting good conferences and events around the year. So this is our third year of incorporation of Nagpur subsection here, and we are really happy to see the events coming up. And because of this pandemic, a lot of events, or I must say, all the events have shifted to the virtual mode. So otherwise, we started this year with a very good event called as Nagpur Subsection Congress with more than 400 participants. And I'm happy to again share with all of you today that it was the most successful Congress in the country as far as IEEE is concerned, with the number of participants and the 3 days of events and talks we saw, the kind of speakers we had. So I'm really happy to be, sharing this with all of you. And I also want to request the students to take the benefit of becoming the member of IEEE, and whosoever are the member of IEEE should take the benefit of immense opportunities IEEE provide. Apart from being the technical site for the technical papers and the largest collection of technical papers and patent documents around the world, it also gives us immense opportunity to network, meet people, attend conferences, and then get to a lot of people, meet a lot of people from the industry. Because of this IEEE and its events, we are here having today with us Shubhra Mittal, and then we would be connected with her. So this is an opportunity to connect and to grow. So, and coming to the topic, Shubhra, I am sure that you will be taking this, taking us deep into the topic, because this is a very, very good and hot topic, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Bhushan Bushti, sir. And it provides us immense opportunities to take up. So, all the best. And Shubhra, once again, I welcome you to the subsection event. Thank you so much. Over to Mansi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joshi sir and Anjit sir, for your insightful thoughts. Listening to you all has always been great. So, coming to today's topic, that is opportunities after boycotting Chinese products. Blame it on the pandemic or the border dispute in the Himalayan regional territory of Ladakh, but the result is the same. Indian businesses are boycotting China. Over 50 Chinese apps were banned. The government has also asked e-commerce platforms to display the country of origin on new products. The industries and conglomerates across the world have been contemplating on gradually moving out of China in a bid to reduce the overdependency, providing India a significant chance to flourish. Industries and conglomerates across the world have been contemplating, so we should come together. And also I would like to request people present over here to come up with their own ideas, and industries are willing to get new ideas so that we can together make India a better place. So most of the industries have been affected due to the current pandemic, and are struggling to stay afloat. We should be taking the movement beyond boycott made in China to build in India and support made in India by each one contributing their maximum in whatever field they are working in. China should not be taken as an enemy, but rather a wake up alarm and an inspiration to get our own acts together. So now, without further ado, we would turn our time over to our today's speaker, Ms. Shubhra Mittal. She is an inspirational speaker, brand consultant, peacemaker, and a photographer. She has been a dentist and has organized more than 50 dental health checkups in and around the tri-state area, Chandigarh, Mohali, Panchkula, with more than 5,000 dental patients, including 10 schools. She has also been awarded Peacemaker Award as well as Travel Influencer of Year 2019. She has also been chosen among top female entrepreneurs of Jagriti Yatra Scholarship by Coca-Cola. Thank you, ma'am, for giving us the opportunity to hear you out. It gives us immense pleasure to invite you as guest speaker to address our participants in the webinar. Your thoughts would enable our participants to gain knowledge from your expertise and experience. Please, ma'am.
Thank you,
We
ma'am.
can start with the webinar. And just a reminder, all the questions are welcome, and you can just put them in the chat box. Thank you.
Okay. So we'll start. So on 29th of June, Indian government bans almost 59 prominent apps of Chinese descent that has been working in India since last few years and has been taking lots of data outside our country. So after banning these apps, now there is a big gap that has been left because of because of shortage of Indian made apps of the same origin. So now to fill this gap, we Indian youth, which is almost 65% of our country, have two opportunities on our hand. First opportunity would be an entrepreneurship opportunity where people like you, students or entrepreneurs, they'll go forward and they'll build new enterprises or enterprises based on the old ideas but with a fresh start. Or and second way would be job creation, where people who don't want to start an enterprise but they want to work in an enterprise, they can develop certain skills for this job and they can go into and go and contributing towards the growth of our country. First we'll be talking about entrepreneurship part. So as we all know, there are some prominent apps like TikTok and Share It and VMate and UC Browser that has been closed by Indian government. And if we'll see these, every one of this app was actually solving a problem. TikTok was solving a problem that we Indians didn't have any software to make easy videos or short videos with minimum equipments. So TikTok solved that thing, and that's why made the highest downloaded and highest used apps in India, with almost 50% or more population from UP and Bihar, and especially from the area uh, that is mainly dominant by poverty, because these people, they didn't have any other solution to make their living or make their to go out there and talk, but TikTok gave them the platform and thus they were able to come out. So in India we have lots of similar kind of apps like Roposo and Mitro and Chingari, but still they were not as popular as TikTok, because first they didn't do the marketing how TikTok did their marketing. TikTok has spent almost 30 to 40% of their money in marketing, which Indians hesitate, because to be very frank, Indians are very slow when it comes to marketing, or they think the money should go into business more than marketing. But that has been proven wrong these days. Like TikTok, they have put lots and lots of money in marketing, and they, even with the same kind of technology, they were far ahead from Indian platforms. So this is the kind of problem we need to solve. Same is with Share It. We didn't had any app to share our information with people or places where there is no internet facilities, or where there is no laptops available. We were not able to share it. Share It gave us this platform, and that's why it become so popular and have been widely downloaded in India. If instead of taking the whole idea and applying it and making the same app, if we can concentrate on what is the exact problem behind it, it would be much easier and much better experience for our customers. As every entrepreneur, if they'll concentrate on what is the exact problem. So if someone who wants to go into the entrepreneurship side, and they want to make replica of these apps, first find out what were the problems they were actually solving, and what kind of problems you want to solve in your with your startup, and then you start pitching up with the idea. There are different sides where you can go while going into an entrepreneurship. There is business side, marketing side, operation sides, and tech side. Business side, we eh, whenever we have to go, we have to see ki what kind of product we are selling and where is the market coming from it. So no people would come on this app and use it by paying money. They are using it for free. So how they are generating their revenue? They are generating their revenue with their advertisement. The advertisement they are showing in their apps is the revenue they generate, or they generate revenue according to their valuation. The valuation, sorry, the valuation they are getting in the national, international markets, or for their shares. That is the revenue they are getting. So, if you want to go to an entrepreneurship side, you have to find out ki what are the ways that you can make business, because making a platform like this may look easier, may look very simple, but making it and running it needs money, lots and lots of money, lots and lots of tech support. And if you want to continue it in business side, you have to get business. So whenever you're thinking of an entrepreneur side, and you are thinking of an to make an app like Facebook, Google, or TikTok, you have to understand where their money is coming from, and if you want to make the same app, where your money is going to come. So this is the first aspect you have to put it in your head and solve it. Second would be operations. So for a tech company like TikTok or Share It, the operation and tech is almost same, because there is no physical entity here. There is everything is on the internet, everything is on the app. So hiring for people who wants to come into this industry and wants to operate and work in a tech segment, it's very crucial, and you have to be very open about it. Obviously they're not just their qualification, but how much their skill set is sharp and how they're going to go for it is very important. So when you're hiring for tech, or when you're making the tech, don't just duplicate the whole technology they have been using, but innovate on your own and find people to hire who can help you innovate, because copy pasting is never a solution, and it's never going to be. And if, as India, we want to push India as a uh, platform where entrepreneurs can come and perform on world level, we have to innovate. So this is one of the aspects that you have to be very careful about. Next is marketing. So marketing is a very crucial segment, because in India, branding is still very new, especially professional branding or personal branding. So we always see big brands doing marketing, but when people start, they usually don't know what kind of platforms they can go into for branding. For example, LinkedIn is a very good and emerging platform for new businesses. You can use it paid, or you can use it organic. That's every marketer's wish. But it can be a crucial aspect when you are competing with the same kind of app. For example, like, because of the success of LinkedIn and success of TikTok and Share It, lots of people will try to make the exact same kind of platform. And supposedly there are 10 different people who are making same kind of platform. So you have to differentiate yourself from them. So why consumers will come to you, and why should not they go to other apps? You have to differentiate yourself, and you have to do that with your professional branding. LinkedIn, you can help. You can make LinkedIn pages, and you can produce content in a way that it adds value. For example, TikTok used LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, this Medium, lots and even Quora and different kinds of apps to showcase not just this, that we are that they were a 15-second or 20-second video platform, but they are a way to market market other businesses product to a vast number of consumers. That's why Flipkart chooses TikTok to market themselves. Flipkart was one of the first Indian startups who started using TikTok as their marketing product, and their uh, success was huge. So you have to realize ki if you'll market yourself, your startup in a better way, not only consumers but direct B2B businesses will also come. Like Flipkart came to TikTok, or different companies or different analogies, they come to uh, these kind of website to these kind of startups to promote themselves. And that is the success of that first startup, the TikTok, that they gave that platform to the Indian companies which were shy or which were using old methods like TV or normal Facebook marketing. They started using LinkedIn marketing. So like this new app Mitro or Chingare, which is an exact example of exact replica of TikTok, but they haven't started using their marketing techniques yet. They have got lots of traction because of this app, this ban of app, but they are still not getting the marketing TikTok used to get, just because they are not be giving this platform to the businesses. And if as an entrepreneur you want to go ahead and be different from all the same kind of apps, you have to choose a different way to market yourself, that it would add value to your consumers and it would add value to your clients also, to your direct paying clients. So in this aspect you have to be careful while building your brand, and you have to focus on putting image that it's easily accessible, it can be easily downloadable, and you have to give the surety of data to your audience, because of this app people have been really secure about their data, about their personal data. So as an app, if you'll let your consumer feel safe with their data and be easy to use, they'll surely come to you. And the biggest and the most important part of being into go into entrepreneurship is investments. And it's not always easy to get, especially right now when we have a difficult situation with China and there is a coronavirus out there. So that's why investors are reluctant. Money is lots of money is blocked, but still there are investments happening. Like Geo is taking lots of investments. So obviously for new platforms there will always be investment, but right now you'll face lots of competition. So for that to curb that competition, you have to have a USP. So USP is called a unique selling point. So even if you are having the same kind of app that everyone else is having, you should have a USP which you can present to your investors, and why they should pick you rather than anyone else of the same technology. And in that investment, your pitch is obviously very important. How you differentiate yourself, how you stand out, it's very important. So if someone is going into this segment and looking for investments, they have to be ready with different kind of USPs when you are connecting with the people, and use your professional brands, and reach out to angel investors, and reach out to small SME investors to get investments. But you have to be different, and you have to fight differently, because there are so many players in the market for the same thing. So you have to be stand out. Like the second part of the whole thing that second part where people can go is the job part, where people who are not coming to their uh, risk their work or risk their skills, but they'll just put their skill into someone else's dream, where people will go and look for employments in these kind of startups. Then because of banning, lots of new startups will come. So these startups will need people to work with, and to people who can make it happen. So there'll be, I believe, there'll be lots of job openings in the future. And to curb that, we obviously we have uh, lots of workforce available, but this workforce needs to improve. We have to improve our skills, as we have been seeing. Like, India has maximum number of engineers. India has uh, people who are CEOs and CFOs of the biggest companies in the world, but still we don't have a startup that we can call ourselves, that we can call that we have made it and we have created it. We have our CEO of Google is Indian, but still Google can never be Indian. Or lots of people are working in Facebook, but Facebook can never be Indian because it was not. So right now we need this, and I think what we short is we don't short in talent. Indians have so much talent that it can't even fit in a single country. We have to go and populate other countries to fully fit in our talents. But what we are not doing is, we are not using our talent in the right places, or we are not upgrading our talent. Whatever talent we have been taught in our schools or colleges, we don't improve it, we don't enhance it. We learn what we have been learned in the syllabus, and but right now the world is changing. Like, for example, this webinar, colleges have been interested in giving different and new skill sets to students, and that's very good. But it's up to students how to take. Matlab, you can just watch this webinar for an hour and just go and do nothing about it, or you can just listen to it very carefully and pick even just one point from it, and understand that this is the skill you like and you want to enhance. So that is very important. If we want to beat China or US or the world, and we want to be number one, we have to use our talent, we have to enhance our skills and make it world level. So to do that, there are lots of courses, Coursera, or there are lots of free webinars on YouTube. And the most important thing is practice, obviously. uh, do as much as internships as you can. Beg people to mentor you, people you think, matlab, they can teach you something new. It's no There's no shame in begging. Beg and ask them to teach you, uh, and get your skill upgraded anyhow. Because if you'll not, someone else will come from some other college, and they'll take what could have been your opportunity. So you have to be very quick. You have to take all the opportunities that you are getting to learn and improve your skills. So after you have got the skills, now the time is to job hunt. So when you're going for job hunting, most people do is they make a profile on LinkedIn, and then they put their job request in jobs.com or hiring.com, hr.com. There are lots of .coms which claims that they can get you job, but obviously half of them works, and one fourth of them will actually get you a job. So you have to be very careful with which platform you're putting your money and your time is. And so I would, for me, what I have seen, LinkedIn has been learner and you would like to learn in your new work also, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the skill. You already have it. You'll help them to grow. That is the exact goal of a job hunter, to showcase the employers that you are perfect for the job. You are perfect. You have all the skills and you have the zeal and passion. So in that, just make a good profile on LinkedIn or wherever you're posting for a job, and talk to lots of recruiters, or reach out to recruiters. If you want to go specifically into the new companies that has been coming after the ban of these apps, you can just find these companies and find the people who are involved in these companies and hirings and everything, and just directly reach out with your skills. There's no shame in reaching out. If you have questions, if you think you got what they are looking for, there's no shame in reaching out. So this is whole is a part of personal branding, where you showcase your employers directly and indirectly that you're good for them. So your profiles and what you write in those profiles and what kind of skill sets you showcase, it's very important. Keep this learning process, uh, because in future there'll be not just this, there'll be lots of new opportunities. The world is going crazy because of this virus, and I believe in future also there'll be, if not this, then there'll always be something else. There'll always be some issue that some need to solve. There's some problem to solve, and it's up to the new generation, your generation, to go deep into it and to solve it, not just for yourself but for all of us. So just keep looking for these opportunities, because they'll be right. Like right now you guys are in college and you must have a year or few semesters left, and this is the perfect time to do virtual internships, because right now your colleges are not starting till end of July or August, and so you have lots of time in your hand. While you are working, you can attend lots of webinars and you can go for lots of internships to move ahead. So after this banning of 59 apps, people have been government has been thinking about banning almost everything manufactured from China, or even outside also. They want to make everything in India, but that's easier said than done, because India has been always has been lacking this power in in basically in cheap manufacturing. We are manufacturing, but our manufacturing is really costly. That's why we also preferred things from China. So that problem needs to resolve, and technology can be an amazing part in it, because technology can solve the problem of manpower, of cheap manufacturing, and can help India shine in startup world, where we are lacking our talent. They all admit that we all have talent, but we always lack that edge. So that edge can, you guys can give that edge to our country. And if any of you is interested in doing so, start reading about what kind of things we have been getting from China, and what kind of manufacturing that goes behind it. Or if you're in technology side, start studying those companies that has been banned, and why, what need they have left behind, and what need that you can solve. This could be the way to move forward. Like for example, if you see, say, Ruposo, they or Mitro, they didn't have more than few hundred of downloads before this, but after 29th July, Ruposo almost grow like 82%. ShareChat grow to 57%. So that's a lot. They have almost 65 million viewers right now. and it has been increasing with every single minute. So you never know when your time will come, when your time for startup or your job will come, but you have to be ready. Like Ruposo and Mitro and Chingari and all these apps, Indian apps, they were ready at that particular moment when India needed new platforms to showcase themselves, or new apps in exchange of these Chinese apps, and they got that opportunity and they are using it like anything. They have been growing like they have never grown. So you never know what chance you'll get. Maybe some of you must be thinking that people have already built the same kind of apps and there's nothing more to left, or there's nothing much that we can do. So entrepreneur part is over. Entrepreneur part can never be over because there's always problems to solve. Even if we start taking things from China again, still there'll be problems that is defined just for India, and we need to solve that problems on our own. So for that we need skill sets, we need people who are willing to come out and take a risk to start. It's all about taking risk. So even if tomorrow India decides to ban everything from China, US, or Russia, will be left with. Imagine if there is a world war that already people have been talking about, and no export or import is allowed. So we'll lose everything that we are using from China and Russia or US and every other country, even Canada, every other country in the world. So what we'll do, what will we do? We'll have to be ready to even face that scenario. We'll have to have all our technology, all our idea put in. So I would say not just these 56 apps or the gap that China is going to leave. Whatever you are like you're using Instagram or you're using Facebook, they're all US made. So imagine if US stopped tomorrow to give us the accessibility of these apps. We'll be left with a big gap in our lives. So that gap now we Indians have to fill for ourselves, so we don't have to be dependent on anyone else for anything basically. That is the whole point of our government when they call it Make in India, that we don't have to be dependent, and we don't have to be. We have all the talents. We are one of the most resourceful countries in the world. We have all kinds of human resources to natural resources. We have all, but we don't know how to use it. So I would like to say to your generation who is up and coming and who are the youngest and most passionate and energetic people, look for a problem and try to solve it. Don't ignore it. Don't think that someone else will solve it, because that is the thing that will make India uh, stand on its own. The self sustainability we keep on talking about, that we have to have in the near future, because we don't know, the future is very undefined, and only our skills and only our passion towards making everything in India will be able to change it. So if you guys are thinking that we you want to go and you want to fill all these gaps, make in India products, and you want to make India stand on the world podium. Then there is manufacturing. You have to find out what is there that you can solve, what is there you can recycle the old things where which you can change and make it into new. What is there you can reuse, and what is there you can enhance, because we need a total reshaping if we really want to make everything in India, and only the new ones can do it. The older ones, they already have their old habits, and it's very difficult to change the manufacturing sides and everything. But with new innovative brains, you can add a lot to India and add a lot to its growth and help us becoming the fourth largest technology hub after US, Russia, and China, because we actually deserve it. We have all the talent, but we just need to shine it a little bit. With this, I'm concluding this session, and I would like to welcome all the questions.
Thank you, ma'am, for your insightful thoughts into this most important topic that I have known affects all of us here. And since we are entering a new growth phase, your comments were very timely. Believe me, when we can benefit immediately from your methods that you have suggested. Now, I would request all the participants to come up with the questions. Okay, ma'am. So we have a question from Sejal. She says,
Okay.
hello, ma'am. There is an app like TikTok as Manoranjan, but this app is not up to the mark. According to you, what is the problem, like in technique, or we are not thinking the way Chinese think?
So it's not like they are smarter people than us. Okay, we all have the same kind of exposures, but the thing is, ki what what I have learned from Chinese people, or what I have learned from their tradition, they're very stubborn people, and when they go for something, they go for it all hands. And we Indians, we always try to keep something in the safe side, or we sometimes we are just scared to take risk. But when it comes to Manoranjan, so like there are lots of apps of same kind right now. Roposo, Mitro, Chingari. So Manoranjan, I mean, I have not never opened or download the app, but if it's I have not even heard about it, for example. So right, the first thing they are lacking is they're lacking marketing. Half of the people don't even know about that this kind of app exists. Like for the Poso Mitro, I still know, I have never downloaded it, but I know that these apps exist and this is their growth rate, because the growth rate has been shocking. But for Manoranjan, I think no one is downloading it, or at least no one is talking about it. That's why it's not uh, nowhere in the news or nowhere in the talks. Maybe first they're lacking marketing, or they must be lacking, and even if they're not they'll get this kind of user base, do you think they'll be able to handle it? I'm not sure about it, because these apps, they start with a by thinking that they have a small base and they'll grow eventually, but when something like this happens, they crash. They were the first ones who crash. So maybe that's why they are lacking marketing, and they're lacking database that can take so many of users. If they'll get 15-20 million user right now, they won't be able to handle it. They'll crash. So they have to think big. They have to think that they can handle all these customers. They have to think in the same way that the problems, we usually, when these people who make same kind of apps, they try to just copy paste the whole thing. That will take the same technology, will take the same interface, and will just go ahead with it. But they don't think that what exactly the problem they are curing. The one of the problems that TikTok was curing was that they are very easy to use. Anyone who is not even who has in school, they can use this app. But I'm not sure all the apps would be same. So you have to be very consistent with what problems you are solving, and then go ahead with it. I think I answered your question, but still, if you are not clear, you can ask.
Yes, ma'am. It was clear. We have another question. Is there possibility to make good phones and make it so user friendly, rule the market, and with the same or even better software and features, and provide a reasonable and affordable price like phones of China, for example, MI and OnePlus?
Isn't it the question the whole world is asking? Nobody wants to use Chinese phones anymore, but they don't have a choice because what these guys are making, it's very affordable and it's very good. Yes, obviously it's possible to make good phones and to make better phones, in fact, with the better services and better features. But we have to be very critical in the price because that is where Chinese they take over, because what they give in 10,000, other phones won't be able to give it 30 or 40,000. That's why people go for Chinese. So if someone is passionate enough and they want to make these kind of phone and go into manufacturing, you have to really do it in 2 tier or 3 tier city, because there the obviously the labor is cheap, the manufacturing is cheap, the cost is less. So if anyone wants to go, I would be very happy if Indian company comes with the with good phones and less expensive and India made. I would be the first one to buy it. So whoever asked this question, yes, you can go ahead, but try to do it in 2 tier or 3 tier cities or as small city as possible, because the cost will decrease and then maybe you'll be able to meet your ends.
Yes, ma'am. I think we should be focusing more on mass production in India.
Yes.
Yeah. Uh, so there's another question from Varda. Government has given 3 week span to answer some questions regarding these apps. So what do you think, if they get all the answers, then after the ban of apps will be removed?
So the thing is, the ban is not exactly on these companies. They don't have any personal grudges for these companies. These companies has been stealing our data. Everyone has been stealing our data since a long time. It's not like the government came to know about it right now. They knew it from before. They are angry because China has been intruding our Ladakh borders. So even if till this tension on the borders resolves, I don't think so. India will give permission to these apps, because the problem is really not with the app. It's with the company. It's with the China. They want to show that by banning your app or by banning your products, we are putting a dent in your economy. So China will be scared and they'll stop intruding in our country. So I'm not sure, even if after they get all their answers, they'll put this ban aside. I think the ban will continue till this China border problem is solved.
Yes, ma'am. We have another question from admin. Now India is importing, say, needle to elephant from China. In the event the further trade war escalates with China, India and the rest of the world cannot pull out their plans on ASAP, then what is the way forward?
So obviously, slowly, we'll stop doing new contracts, and whatever contracts that we're already in, like Chinese investors have already pushed lots of money in Indian startups like Zomato, even Ola. So these companies, they can't just ask their investors to take their money and go, because these companies will crash if these investors actually go. So, so the ban is basically on to scare Chinese government, but I'm not sure if they are stopping the whole thing. They can't, because they have signed contracts. So for further going, I think there will be no new contracts or there will be no new investment in between these countries till the situation resolves, and slowly they'll just complete their already going projects and they'll stop working with China. But we can only do that if we already have something to look for in our country too. If we stop something that is very important that we have been taking from China and we can't produce it in India, then then it would be a loss for us, not for them. That we have to be very careful about, like banning things or stopping things which we can make ourselves. If we can't make it, if any other country can't make it, then we'll be the one suffering. We have to be careful, and I think government has been very choosy what to ban and what to not, because still they say ki old contracts has been going on and they'll keep on going on, because that's a huge loss of money. So coming forward, if India needs to prepare itself for in-house manufacturing and in-house technology, if we really want to be fighting and we want to rub horns against China, we have to be ready for that. I think India is not ready yet, but if this fight continues for coming few years or decades, then we'll not have any option, because now we are banning China, we are banning their products, they'll also start doing the same, and then we'll have no one to give us these things. So unless and until we don't start producing it in our home, we can't be that arrogant. We immediately stop everything.
Yes, ma'am, true. I think we should also be like we should be when China wants to operate in India, they should be operating on our principles. So we should be taking a stand for it, I guess.
That we are taking, that's why we are banning these apps and everything, because we want to show China that you can't just do anything anywhere. This is our country, and you can't just come in our country, take our land and take our money and take our data also. So the things we can control, we will control, and we are just warning you that don't come forward. And if we start manufacturing in India, it would be a loss for China. So obviously, China won't extend this fight till that point that India is so pissed off that they start making their own. But I'm sure they'll try to extend this fight that it hurts India. So yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There's another question from Gaurav. I feel India is well and good in assembling the final product, but we have to buy the raw materials from other countries. Is production of raw materials in our country an appropriate solution for this?
See, I never. If you'll take history books and if you'll see, India was the biggest raw material provided in the world. British and all these all these countries that has been colonizing other countries, they used to take raw material from India. So what we are lacking right now is motivation to get this raw material and use it. Like in Punjab, they say the best of the wheat and the best of the rice, it went outside. It goes outside India. Same thing with Himachal. They say the sweetest of the apples, they go outside India. In Nagpur also, the bestest of the orange, they goes outside India, because they get good market there. They get good money there. So that's why these products are costly, and in India there are less buyers, and people take it outside. We have to stop it, and we have to make value of these things in India. Plus, we have to decrease the raw material cost if we really want to start making in India. That is where government comes in. If government is doing all these things, the government should also give subsidies to people who are willing to come and risk their life savings on manufacturing something from scratch. And because otherwise, without their help, it's very difficult. The labor cost is very high in India, and for everything you need labor. And even especially for procuring raw material, you need lots of labor who cut it from the scratch and who take it to the factories and mulate or work on it. So that we need to think about. But I can also see, like, because of corona, lots of people are going back to their hometowns. Like they have migrated for their work. Now demigration is going on and people are going back to their work. So maybe when local people will go to their own villages or their own areas, because of the living cost decrease and everything, I think the labor cost should also go down. But then government has to come forward and help uh, startups and help entrepreneurs in it, because they can't do it alone. If they'll do it alone, the cost will always come high and we won't be able to do it. So we can do it, but we need help. Like in other countries also, entrepreneurs, they get help from governments, initial help. In India, we can't even, a college student, it's very difficult to take loans, especially if you have new ideas, because banks, they don't put on guarantee. So this is where government comes in. If someone really wants to start manufacturing from scratch, government should come in and they should subsidize these labor. And in Manrega, they can do that. They can subsidize and they can help India making their own products.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Om is asking, if someone thinks for a startup, where will he go for investments?
So, see, investment, it comes from a network mostly. The people you know, and they know someone, you know someone, and they know someone, and then they know someone. There's always a network. Whoever is going into entrepreneurship, networking is really important. That's why I have been emphasizing on LinkedIn, because it's one of the best ways right now to be professionally involved in networking, because you can't go out and in conferences and network. But LinkedIn can be a good way to network to new people. There are lots of investors available. Just keep talking to people, keep putting your idea. Maybe not the whole thing, but most of your idea. Just talk lots and lots of people about it. So these people can help you attach to an investor, or you can just directly reach out to an investor and tell them. So even if you are you don't know anyone in your alumni or in anywhere who are investing, you can just directly go on LinkedIn and send a invite or send a message to an investor that you have something of this sort and you would be interesting to me. But the main thing is to reach out. There is this big problem in Indians, in all of us. Not, I'm not an exception, that we don't reach out because of XYZ reasons. So just reach out to investors, talk to them, try to take any and every help you can, like your principals or your teachers, and ask them. And they must have known someone, or find your alumni, check all of the people who have got out from your college, and maybe you can find someone from there only. There are lots of ways to find investment, but your ideas should be worth investing. If your idea is, you'll find someone, don't worry. People, I have worked in creda.com. When we started, it was a second-hand bike startup, and it was one of a kind, and people used to laugh on us, that because it's a market where educated people don't go, because it's a market full of gully people who used to sell second-hand bikes. They are not sold in showrooms, but still we found lots of investment. We got $15 million from SoftBank and other investors. So because the idea was good and the execution was amazing. So if your idea is good, your execution is good, you'll find someone. Just keep looking out and reaching out to people who you think they can help you.
Bro, I think I would like to add to your answer
Yes.
for this question from Om. Well, there are a large number of business incubation centers now with the engineering colleges.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
also have one from MSME. and they are rather asking for the innovative ideas. And if you have some good idea which is sustainable and can be extended into a large production, yes, definitely it would be supported by the government, and government is ready to give you almost up to 1.5 crores to nurture that idea and make some few prototypes initially. So after that, sustenance also, some money is being given. So apart from the angel investors, as you mentioned, government is also helping out people. So put your ideas onto MSME. Their portal is open, and you can put it on that. Get associated with any of these incubation centers. Thank you.
Well, like Dr. Joshi has said, these incubation centers, same like this, they are startup weekends, they are Google for entrepreneurs. I was part of Google for entrepreneurs. So there are lots of these kind of incubation center which can be connected to your school, or which can be an individual entity, which they organize lots of competitions, and with this competition we always give some investment and some initial help to the best ideas. If you think you have an amazing idea, put in your college incubation, or put in all these competitions, and if it's that good, it will surely be get picked.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, there one last question for today's session.
Yeah.
Mr. Praveen says, you gave example of farm produce being exported. Don't you agree that rather than providing subsidies, the right price to the product would be a better solution? Because the price paid to the producer is only 30% of what the consumer ultimately pays. So the major share is taken by the middlemen or so-called brokers.
That I think the government is already trying to do that. After the corona hit India, Indian government has announced that there is no need to be a middleman, and people can directly go and sell in the market. So they are trying, but still, for a farmer, example, a small farmer with 1 or 2 acre of land, it would be very difficult for him to sow the seeds and to then nurture the whole thing, then to cut the whole thing. They need machineries, and then to take this product to the market in some vehicle. It every single step costs something. So even if there is no middleman, it's very difficult to go out, and middleman actually helps to distribute, or so middleman, there is a this problem can be solved by government if government start taking direct products from people, from these farmers, or government allows companies to take direct products from these farmers. Like there is a company in Delhi, it says I say organic. It has been started by a friend of mine, and her company has a direct tie up with farmers who produce products, and this company, they directly go to the farmers, they pick their products and sell it by themselves. So farmers get the highest price they can get for their market, and they don't have to spend in taking procuring their goods, or taking it from in transportation. So in that sense, startups and governments can come together and help each other in doing this. Companies can get assistance from government by subsidies or local, and these subsidies can be used to give direct benefits to the farmer or whoever is the main manufacturer. So yeah, matlab, they can directly go, but it's not possible for everyone. But if government intervenes, that could be really helpful, and that could be very smart and fast.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, everyone. And we do have more questions. So anyone who is willing to ask any question can just mail ma'am. Email ID would be provided in the chat box. Please go through it. Now I will ask Vanshika to
Or you
give
can
vote of
ask,
thanks.
you can come to LinkedIn also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You can just ask to come to LinkedIn and ask if you don't want to have an email conversation. Or you can find Shubhra Mittal on LinkedIn and you can ask questions there also. That is not an issue.
Okay. Yeah. Now I would like Vanshika to give vote of thanks. Over to you, Vanshika.
Pachi, we can conclude. I think Vanshika can't hear us.
Ma'am, she is there. Vanshika, can you hear me?
Hello.
See, unmute her mic.
Yeah. Am I
Mansi,
audible?
unmute her mic. Please.
Ma'am, she is unmuted.
Yeah.
Is the audio and the video clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. As we come to an end of this inspiring webinar, I, Vanshika, the webmaster of CCAW Student Branch Nagpur, express my sincere gratitude to Ms. Shubhra Mittal for accepting our invitation to address this webinar. Ma'am, we are extremely grateful to receive such valuable insights on the opportunities after boycotting Chinese products. This webinar has surely inspired and given us ways to enhance our skills, increase employment in our country, and promote the small scale industries of our country more than the foreign businesses. On behalf
Thank you,
of the
Vanshika.
entire team of IEEE CCWSB, I express my sincere gratitude to Honorable Chairman Sir Shri Milind Kukre, our respected principal, Dr. B.P. Joshi Sir, a special vote of thanks to the IEEE Chairman of Nagpur subsection, who is also the MD and CEO of Syslogics Nagpur, Ranjit Sir, the Secretary of IEEE subsection, Sir Kuldeep Singh Rana, and our very own IEEE branch councillor, Professor Jaya Raut, for helping us organizing such a wonderful webinar. Last but not the least, to all the participants for their interactive and enthusiastic participation. I request everyone to please switch on the cameras so that we can take a snap and capture the memory. Please, can everyone just switch on the cameras so that we can just take a picture? I request everyone to please switch on the cameras. Okay. With this, we come to an end of this webinar. As informed earlier also, to acquire the participation certificates, it is mandatory to fill the feedback form, which will be sent to you on your registered email IDs. I request everyone to check their mails And if the certificate is not received, kindly fill the feedback form once again after 24 hours, as only 100 certificates can be provided daily. The link to the feedback form has been put in the chat box too. You can fill it now also, and you can get the certificates. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am,
guys.
for arranging this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Please fill the feedback form before leaving.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.